Good morning, garden lovers. I hope you're well. Welcome to my garden. I'm just going to do a garden walk and talk. It's not all just about roses, but just perennials, fruit and veg. Just a gentle wander around the garden. But before I do, let me show you my new mug and plate. Look how pretty it is. Now I got this from Marks and Spencer's recently and I just couldn't resist it. I just love the old gallery stuff. Look how cute that is. Very, very pretty. I do normally like my crockeries quite plain, but these are just too pretty to resist, right? So I'm going to give you a walkabout after I finish my breakfast. See you in a bit. Okay, so now I finished my breakfast, I'm going to give you a walkabout now. So what I normally do is start off at the top. And first of all, we shall look at a flower, a climber. This is David Hockney. Now I do grow climber in pots, but I do have to keep it quite compact, really like cut it hard. But I've only had this only its first summer, so we'll see how it goes. Not quite open. This is the second flush. And let's look at my white border. This is a Litchfield Angel, a David Austin. I never really liked this lanky growth. It has to throw out these long tall canes. This one is Desdemona, lots and lots of buds. This will be her third flush. And then moving on to, this is Lion's Rose, Champagne Moment. And I think this will have to be my favorite white David Austin. This is Tranquility. Lovely growth habit. Old-fashioned blooms. Let me smell the fragrance. This morning, only a light fragrance. And I do have my Asian pears. Look at that. Asian pears in the UK. That one's a big one, that one there. So that's growing amongst my white rose bed. And oh my goodness, just check this out. My goodness. This is about 4 feet tall and a quite upright. This is her probably continuous flowering, maybe even her third flush. This is Madame Anisette. Very fragrant, very healthy. Part of the Cordes Parfumer collection. So we'll move on to, that is not a good bloom of Olivia, but Olivia is very floriferous. I don't want to get myself in the shadows. Let me have a look at that one. Maybe that one's a little better. That is Olivia Rose Austin. And then we have this lanky one here. This is a 4-year-old cutting. This is Mill on the Floss. One of my favorite roses. Favorite blooms. I don't really like the growth too much. Like I said, it is a little bit tall and lanky. But gorgeous bloom and very strong fruity scent. And moving on to last year's introduction, this is Emma Bridgewater, also a very healthy rose. The blooms are quite small. This will probably be her second or third flush. And I do love the colour change. Yeah, the blooms are very small. So that is the front area. So now we are going to look at our hot border, and one's looking lovely now is Munstead wood. Now I'm going to try and get a cutting from Munstead wood. As you can see, all these spent blooms. So this cane I'm going to try and get a cutting from, and I'll show you a cutting update later. But yeah, I've never actually had that much canes to work with, so this will be my first cutting of Munstead wood that I'm going to attempt to take. But it's not a very vigorous variety, so I wouldn't get my hopes up. But let me just show you something that I pruned off earlier, which I know it will definitely take. This is Timeless Purple, and this is, I deadheaded this, but I can see this is perfect cutting material. So I've deadheaded here, and you can see this bit here, you would cut off the side and you work your way up, take off the leaves, and probably prune it here, and then you have yourself a very nice cutting. Like I said before, I do think taking cuttings here is the success rate is a little bit higher, so just bear that in mind. So these prunings here, don't waste them, just stab them in some sandy soil, and fingers crossed. And let me see, oh, we have another cutting here that I made. I put it here because Summer Song used to be here, and she never did very well, so I dug her up. So this one here, I think it's Fruity Parfumer. I've just left her here to settle in her position, which I'll plant in autumn. What else shall I show you? Oh, about dahlias. This is Dahlia Poo, the flower of the moment. Dahlias are late summer flowering tubers. Now I do leave mine in the ground and they do come up, so I don't dig them up, it's just far too much trouble. Now some people don't actually know which one is a bud or a spent bloom. Let me see where the spent bloom is. Now that's a spent bloom. The spent blooms are a little bit elongated, a little bit pointier, and the blooms are a little bit more rounded. So don't cut off the buds when you're trying to deadhead. So that's the way to check for taking off deadheading dahlias. And another tip I can give you is Astromerias. Now I do have a couple of varieties of Astromerias here, and usually Astromerias you don't cut off from the base. Let me see. So Astromeria, what you do with the spent blooms is you actually pull. This is the flowers are almost gone now, there's not a lot there, and to encourage more blooms you don't snip it off here, you actually pull the whole thing from the base, so it's quite clean. So that would stimulate the roots to create more shoots like this. So that's what you do with Astromerias. Oh, and my tomatoes, they're absolutely just dropping on the ground. I should have to harvest those. I did a harvest last week already with my courgette. Yeah, but before I move on, I'll show you a little clip of my brother's garden, my younger brother. And he's new to growing roses, but he does grow a lot of vegetables. So this is my younger brother's garden, and in his garden he has this apple tree. And this apple tree, although the fruits, the apples are very small, it is very delicious. And on this apple tree there seems to be a graft which has been grafted many years ago, and the leaves and the fruit is so much different. And there's nothing better than picking your own fruit and eating it on the spot. So look at this. This is a very different variety, and I am considering getting an apple tree with 5 varieties grafted on it. I like this apple so much. It's very, very crunchy and almost like a pink lady. Really nice. So here are the Vietnamese herbs that my brother grows. His wife is Vietnamese, so he does grow a lot of herbs which Vietnamese really like. So let me show you some of his roses that he's growing for the first time. And this one is something called Happy Birthday. And it is quite fragrant. Now he went and bought these roses all by himself. He doesn't know anything about roses at all. And I have to admit, this ancient mariner that he has actually looks better than Ken's. Growing roses must run in the family. There's a few at the back here I'd like to show you as well. This is Roald Dahl. And Roald Dahl is quite a lovely rose. And this one's not in flower. That at the back is called Cinderella Fairy Tale. Yeah, so he does grow roses in pots. But his passion is growing these marrows. He just loves to grow marrows. There's 2 varieties here. And this variety in particular is huge. Oh my goodness, it's so big. It's almost as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm. Yes, it's so huge. And yeah, we put them in soup. And yeah, some more roses here. Oh, let's get back to the roses. This rose is Lady of Shalott. I think on her 2nd flush. Look at this amount of fresh growth that's coming through. I think he does feed his roses because whenever he feeds his marrows, which they all need feed to grow so big, he feeds his roses as well. And this one is Emily Bronte. And that one at the back, although we don't know what it is, I've been told it's probably Claire Marshall. Very healthy rose, and some more Roald Dahls here. And this one here is Gentle Hermione. I do have this rose, but it's never something that I really admire. The flowers shatter very easily, but he's done quite a good job here. Very, very healthy. Very soft blush pink. That one at the back, a very old bloom of James L. Austen. That's a good variety. And this one here is a standard tree with lots and lots of new growth on it. This is the whiter shade of pale. But let me show you this. It must be the ugliest vegetable you've ever seen. Ugly. And this is bitter melon, and it's used in Asian cooking. But honestly, that is just so ugly. It looks like it's melting, like dripping, like melting. That is bitter melon. So we have here Penelope Lively. Quite a recent introduction. Very, very prolific. And yes, medium scent. Gorgeous blooms. This is quite a late flowering variety. So whereas Olivia Rose Austen is known for early flowering, Penelope Lively is quite a late bloomer. It tends to get going quite late in the season. And here we have, this is Silas Marner, having a little rest. And one of the most beautiful bloom, look at that. This is Eden Rose, Pierre de Ronsard. It's a climber which I've grown in a pot, and I'm trying experimenting with this because we did get a very long cane, and I've bent it, and look at that. The growth is coming from the nodes that I've bent. Gorgeous, gorgeous rose. It's not scented, but the beauty makes up for having it in your garden. And this is another Penelope Lively that I got. said, it just comes alive later in the season. Lots of buds coming through. This is, it's hard to see with the light, isn't it? This is Molinard, Rose de Molinard, and it's supposed to have really good fragrance. Let me just have a quick smell. Oh yes, it does have quite a strong fragrance and a very good grower. And this is only planted bare root early in the season. And I did buy this from Town Centre in Lotham. And it is the strongest grower, except for, I would say, Mocha Rosa is also one of the strongest. And one of the prettiest roses, but not a good grower, also from Town Centre in Lotham. First year in my garden. This is Terry Marks. So yeah, this one, the weather's been quite nice lately, but this one really does not like rain. So it's looking quite good. And let me show you. Wow, this is a very thorny one. This is Harlow Car. And let's see what we have here. This is Timeless Charisma, the mother plant. Look at all those new shoots coming. All those bright red shoots. Super healthy variety. I do recommend this. It's very easy to grow. It's good long flowering plant. Good fragrance. And another one of my pear trees growing in a pot. This is one called Shinseki, probably called, it translates to New World. It's so heavy that I had to stake it. I really should take more fruits off, but I can't bring myself to. Right, let's see. Ah, there's a bloom of Harlow Car. Look, that's a Harlow Car bloom. Yeah, we do have little clusters. So hopefully next year, I think it might settle in here better, because this bed is quite new. And a new one also from Town Centre, only this year, and very healthy as well. This is called Rose and Fascination. Some more buds there. And let me show you my three amigos, which I call, this is a Dana Hue in the pot, which I think will go in the ground in the autumn. The flowers shatter far too quickly for me. Not one of my favourites. And one of the best-selling David Austin here is Bring Me Sunshine. Now this is a very shady area. Doesn't get much sun, only a couple of hours. So it's not performing as well as the one that I also have growing in the sun. This one's Dana Hue, not in bloom. So these roses here are growing in semi-shade. So let's see how well they do in the coming years. I do grow a lot of perennials and shrubs as rose companions, and as you can see, this echinops is just loved by bees. And I do like the little spherical like lollipops. And behind that is Hydrangea Annabelle. That one you can grow in shade. She just likes that spot. And I have here, probably not the best location for this rose. This is a climbing rose called the Pilgrim. That's the Pilgrim. And this is my yellow and blue border. I try to restrict the palette to just yellows and blues, maybe with some whites in there. This is a David Austin one, quite prolific bloomer. This is Vanessa Bell. The colour is a very vanilla colour. It's a soft yellow. Very prolific. and she does like this location. As you can see, the yellow and the blue goes quite well together. And her neighbour is another David Austin. This is the country parsons. Very healthy rose. Let me just smell that fragrance. Yeah, it's just mild today. Normally it's quite a medium scent. Yeah, but that is this yellow and blue border here. So I'm going to end this video with a look at some cuttings and an update on the cuttings I'd taken in my last video. But let me show you what I have got. This one's in the ground already. This is one I wanted, and I went to my brother's garden and took some prunings a couple of years ago, and look, we have a bloom of the Lady Gardener. Very strong scent and very healthy. I had a couple of blooms already, and yeah, she looks like she's going to settle in this area very, very well. So viewers asked me what I did with the cuttings that I'd taken last time and where I put them. And so here they are. They're just out of the way. This is the one that we had taken last week, or the week before, and this is the ones I actually put back in, the ones that wasn't quite rooted, so I put them back in to see whether they will root. So I have kept them in a very sheltered location. As you can see, we do have tadpole shade, and it is behind a wall in my utility area, so to speak. And I couldn't resist but take some more this morning. There's a Princess Charlene of Monaco, Theo Clevers, and I can't even remember already. But I just take these cuttings, the prunings, and I just put them in here. So basically what you do is just put them in a sheltered spot. I don't cover them or anything, and you just keep them watered like that, maybe once a week, to stop the soil from drying out, and that's it. But I'm going to show you, I just don't talk the talk, I actually do walk the walk. Here is a cutting of Bring Me Sunshine. This is very, very tall. Looks, it's growing so tall already. And I would also show you what you can do with leftover prunings. Look at that. Now, I don't label my cuttings because I just stab it in the sandy soil whenever I take my prunings. So you can get a bit surprised. I think this is maybe timeless purple maybe, but I'm not sure. And we do have some more here which I've already potted out. This is yeah, this is probably the third stage where it has its own pot and maybe even ready to go in the ground when it's a little bit more bigger. And this one is probably about second year, and it is Dana Hue. This is the Dana Hue. Not just the Dana Hue, I have been able to get successes from Penelope Lively as well. This is a Penelope Lively. And this is Porcelain Parfumer. This is a Cordes Rose. So give it a go, guys. You never know what you might get. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.